Hi students, very good afternoon. Welcome to Unacademy. Welcome to One Academy YouTube. Let's for everyone else to join in and then we will begin. So today it's a revision class. I started with the methods one because the last time you guys told me that ma'am we have a few queries with the methods chapter. Urmila Matonkar ma'am. No, I'm not Urmila Matonkar ma'am. I'm Urmi Chakravorty ma'am. So I'm going to take forward the revision from here. Um, Let me see who all are joining. All right, so let everybody join. You guys have to tell me which chapter would you like us to revise today once we start with methods. We have a revision class marathon tomorrow as well. That's basically a whole course marathon. If you guys are not aware, we'll be doing it on YouTube. So I would be giving you all the details shortly on the Telegram channel as this is the YouTube class. Right now, you guys can let me know on the comment section which chapter would you want me to revise one more time for you guys, because tomorrow's marathon class we would be covering maximum chapters. So from today, for today, we would be starting with methods. We have already done the first chapter, but yes, meanwhile, if you have any queries, you can write it on the comment section, and I will definitely take it from there, and we will start solving the entire query, and we can have a discussion, healthy one for that with Q&A. I have also told you guys that I have given a special structure in the special class in which a sample paper of how psychology questions can come in class 11th, which you can probably just go have a look at. So that's going to be helpful to you, and I'm hoping that it is. Hi Sujil, hello, how are you? Welcome to the class, beta. Good evening, Uri ma'am. Hi. Memory chapter. Memory, yes. Memory we will be doing in the part two, because part one we are taking the first, what do you call, half of the book, and then the rest half of the book would be taken care in the later phase. So both of them will be done. Don't worry. All right. So let's quickly begin. I'm good, ma'am. That's good. I'm so happy to know that, Sujal. That's amazing. So let's quickly begin. Guys, as I have told you in the previous chapter of methods, also, there are few questions which you guys had. I'll take you through, and I'm going to give you some important tricks of writing with common examples, which are very important in psychology, because psychology, you can relate to real life experiences, as simple as that. You don't have to be worried about things, you don't have to be worried about executing things and stuff, because it's very easy. You have seen things, you have seen how people react to situations and what are the methods, what is the style of counseling, how it is being used, etc. Ma'am, which is the best college for BA psychology? See, I really like Ferguson College, Pune, I really like Delhi University. I like JNU. The cutoffs are really high, but then just in case if you're not able to, be a part of those colleges, I think doing psychology from any college when you're doing your BCom, BA, sorry, is still acceptable and okay. But when you're doing your masters, which requires a proper internship, either in the field of sports psychology or clinical or cognitive, in that case, I would always prefer you to go for a good reputed college, because that is going to give you more experience, and it will give you a better clarity on how you have to prepare yourself for the challenges, upcoming challenges, as well as corporate questions which will come across your way. So I would suggest that. Now, to begin with, very quickly, I'm going to give you the Plus subscription platforms and reasons why you should join Plus. Yes, you guys are aware of it. Most of you guys have also taken the Plus platform, but there are practice sections now, like you see that the entire syllabus we guys have done, but we have again started with the revision because your pre-boards are coming, your main final exams are coming for class 11th, for class 12th pre-boards are coming, of course the exams are in May, but we have bundled batches in which we have given you a lot of revisions, and it has not just happened once or twice. In fact, it has happened at least 4 5 times, and it has helped you guys in some way or the other. You have learned from the top educators of our country. You have got a platform where you have exhaustive coverage of the syllabus. You have got weekly mock test series. You have educators who are helping you every single time with your PDFs and uh, study materials. They will give you every single thing what is required, and the most important thing is you will have that practice session, which is very important. Now what happens is, when you take up the Plus subscription, there are few students who want single-handed attention. They are either slow learners, or they only want one tutor, one student, face-to-face interaction, a better connect. For this, Unacademy has launched an iconic subscription. Now, for iconic, what is the thing is, you will get all the benefits of Plus as it is, but here you will have a personal mentor. Okay, here you will get a one-on-one guidance from the top-notch educators on all your concern. Now, what happens here is, if you're on the iconic platform, your parents can have a connect with your tutor or with your icon, who is part and parcel of planning your weekly schedules. Your reports are being given, study planner. See, whenever you think that you want to plan out what you want to do, how you want to plan out your structured studies, which pattern, etc., all these things only happen when you get a proper assistance. And this is one place where Unacademy's iconic subscription, which actually redefines mentorship and ensures a hands-on learning experience. So we are basically very happy to present you a 360-degree support system that gives you all the assistance which you need to ace your examinations. Okay, this brings me for an amazing news that we have recently commenced. Previous month, January 25th, we have also commenced with the crack optional let's crack optional exams for class 11th as well as for class 12th. Okay, in which we are having psychology session, which has been taken by Nikki Sinha ma'am. We are also having physical education, entrepreneurship. We are having informatics practices. We are having computer science, Hindi. Now, these are optional subjects which can be chosen by any students from any branch. That can be humanities, it can be commerce, it can be science. Now, it depends on you which batch you would want to join, because these are optional batches. Also, let me add to it, as you know that I'm also taking psychology and I'm also taking entrepreneurship. Go ahead, check out the learning app. You have my profile already given, mentioned below there, and once you like it, you can go watch these special classes, videos and recordings, and these are absolutely free. You will have a fair idea about what we have taken, how we have taken, and you can move from there. That's going to be helpful to you. Next is class 12th board exam batch. As you can see now here, Anjali ma'am, Asif sir, of course, Lavjeet ma'am, uh, Chandna sir, Ashish Chana sir, Nikki ma'am, all these amazing educators are taking the batches. As you can see, there are some batches mentioned. Okay, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for class 12, Monday, Tuesday for class 11th. Now, every week we have these batches which are commenced on the Plus platform. We also have some classes for the special. Now, for the science students, if you are not aware, you can inform your friends as well. This is recently commenced from the 25th, where these two people, amazing educators, Kumar sir and Vinod Kumar sir, are taking your commencing of the batch of physics from the 25th. And how to answer? Okay, changes um, due to accumulation may be on in objective and subjective level, elaborate 6 marks. That's a very good question. Unknown, can you please tell me your name, beta? Because how can I answer with unknown? So, okay, can you please tell me your name? Okay, so basically, acculturation is an answer where you have to elaborate it for 6 marks. Okay, please remember that it can be exactly examined at subjective and objective levels, because here you're talking about acculturation, which is a major process of social, psychological, and cultural change, which is a mix of it. Now, the entire concept is based on Carner's theory. Okay, now when I say that it is based on Kramer's theory, you basically have to understand that it identifies three communication style. What are the three communication style or pattern here? That's idolic, symbolic, and signalitic. Now this is very important because your socialization agents play a major role here, because culturation comes into picture, and acculturation is the process of learning and incorporating the values or contact, which is also considered to generate a kind of change either in both groups, and this also creates a problems with the behavior and styles from their parents. So now your question in objective and subjective would be basically the way you define it, the way you give examples. If you have to write in a very objective way, you can just give one statement or one line about the definition and how this is important for you to make a major difference. But yes, if they ask you to write it in a subjective pattern, you have to give thorough examples and draft it in the same way. All right, unknown. Hi, Swarnima. Hi, Urja. Okay, your name is Urja. That's nice. So, Urja, I'm not Urmila Matonkar, ma'am. I'm Urmi, ma'am. Okay. So, yeah. Also, till I take up the next question and till I begin with our slides, Unacademy Ascent, you already know, guys, this is an amazing thing where you can actually start revising and play well and earn a lot of scholarships. So please go ahead, check out on the learning app. We have fantastic things every single month, which will help you and benefit you. Urmi Live is my referral code. So if you have any subscription plans which you opt for, you can use this my referral and you will definitely get a straight 10% discount for class 11 plus, for class 11th iconic, for class 12 plus, for class 12 iconic. My personal suggestion, as an educator, sensibly do not opt for smaller plans unless it's an utmost emergency or you have already done it, you just require 1 month. Fair enough. Go for the bigger plans, at least for class 11 folks, because class 12 you will not wrap up everything in just a month. Okay, you need a proper thing. Hi Samriddhi, hello, hello. You definitely need a proper timing where you can finish off, in the given amount of time. You can basically um, revise, plan, summarize, etc. And all these things can be done when you take a better plan. So that's the idea which I have. You must always take up a plan which is suitable for you. If it's a better one, it's a bigger one. Now, before I start with this one, uh, the next question Urja has asked me is differentiate between observation and interview method using the case studies. See, when we speak about observation and case studies, the slide which you can see in front of me right now, Urja, you can definitely see this and think. When you are speaking about, how when you're speaking about interview method and observation method using the what do you call it, the draft of uh, case studies, this model in which you identify the focus of research. Point number one, Urmi Live 10%. All right, yes, Urmi Live is equal to 10%. All right. So now what I'm trying to tell you here, Urja, that this model which is on your screen right now, ma'am, is 2 Urmi lives about 20%. One platform, one subscription are you taking or two? If you're taking two, so of course you get 10/10. Depends on what you're taking, which plan are you taking. All right, let's come back. Urja, this is your question's answer. Please be, careful about what I'm answering, beta, so at least you can note down the points. Identify the focus of research. Point number one. Then you develop a research questionnaire. This you have to elaborate. Now, this you cannot write only for 6 marks because this is your 3 pointer. And once this is done, then you probably have to define these things to get a 6 marks. Okay. Once your identifying of the focus of research is done, then you develop a research question. Okay. Third point is the key terms. Now, why key terms are important? Because this shows that what is the reason why you are doing this research, what is the agenda behind it, and why is it helpful to you. And all these things play a very important role when this is about selecting a research method. Selecting means either it can be objective, either it can be subjective, or it can be an interview observation, or it can be in qualitative or quantitative observation. There are two different methods of research which is being used in a proper way. Then once your research method, you know that okay, I don't want a questionnaire, I just want a qualitative research. Then you will have to form a proper population of samples. That okay, how will you prove your research? You need sample, you will collect data from people, you will ask them to answer it, you will try to revert and acknowledge the same, then you will gather and analyze the data, and then last you are going to interpret it. Okay. And then you're going to last interpret and share the results. So that basically leads to your conclusion. Now, why is conclusion important? This is also you have to something which is elaborate, because this is your case study. You are trying to do a proper analysis of why and what it is happening. So these structures of identifying the focus, developing a questionnaire, defining the key terms, selecting a method, establishing a sample population, gathering and analyzing a data, and interpreting and sharing the results are very, very important in this case. Any questions and doubts still here, guys, before we move to the next one? Any questions still here, guys, or do we move ahead? Hi, Bhumika. Yes, ma'am, I'm noting down. Okay, it's clear, ma'am. All right, great. So once you're done, Urja, please let me know so that I can move ahead. So I'm waiting for you to note down better. Okay. Now you have once it's clear, then I'll move ahead, beta. Okay. Let me now move to the next one. Okay. How do you sign? How can you basically find the goals of scientific inquiry? Okay, these are very. Okay, very sorry. How are the scientific goals of inquiry? My daughter had come in between. Very, very sorry. Came for revision. Hi, Hamza. Hello. Welcome, beta. Yes, ma'am. I'm noting now. It's clear. I'm in 12th. Hi, Hamza. Great. You're in 12th. This is class 11th, beta. Class 12th, I'm going to take very, very soon. Why is she beating the kid? Nobody is beating the kid. She fell down, so she came crying to me. I told her the class is going on, so my dad took her. Nobody is beating the kid. So because she came running, the laptop moved, Hamza. Don't worry. She's all okay. When? Okay. So basically, right now we are doing class 11th. I'm probably going to take class 12 the next week because most of the students, although, please tell the timings. Yes, of course, Hamza, you can please go check out the learning app tomorrow on Plus. The new course for psychology is getting started on disorders. Sorry, that was a joke. No problem. Sometimes people feel that okay, we beat the kids and all, but kids are very smart, so I know it was a joke. No problem, I'm just telling you because suddenly she started crying, no, so I'm just telling you guys. Okay, so Hamza, tomorrow onwards we'll have a class every day at 4:30 to 5:30. Please go and check out the timings on the Unacademy learning app, beta. That will be easy for you. Okay. All right. Now this chapter has few important questions and few important things to note down. For example, the goals of scientific inquiry. Okay. Now there exists diversity in the types of researchers in which it is very very. Ma'am, are you beating the kid? What's going on? Nobody is beating the kid, guys. Please open your eyes. Wake up. There was a kid. She came running. She's my daughter. She felt bad. She fell down there. She came running inside. So I told my class is going on. So my dad took outside. I think I don't have to give a justification on this to you guys. Okay, ma'am, have you taken learning chapter? Yes, I have taken learning chapter Samriddhi. So please go ahead and check out the special classes. You will get it there. And I have also taken learning on Plus as well. Is that okay? Now, do we move ahead? All right. Now, when we are speaking about why is it exists, why is it existing, what is the reason behind it, and why are we speaking about it? Okay. Now, these things are very, very important because here we are trying to define the reasons behind research, the reasons behind psychology sharing some goals. Okay. And goals means what is the reason? What is the reason that you guys are doing a research? Sometimes your research are very complex. Sometimes your research. Urmi ma'am is a psychologist. She understands child psychology. Of course, I do, beta. All right. So, more than a psychologist, I think I'm a mother. So I understand when the kids cry. So that's one thing. All right. So when she stops crying, I'll show her to you guys. It's about professionalism. I can't take her inside and she suddenly came in. I'm taking a class, no, so it doesn't look good. That's why I told her to told my father to take her. That's all. Okay, now this is not national issue. Let's not make a national issue out of it. Now let's move ahead. When we are discussing about the diversity in research, okay, like Urja asked that, ma'am, what are the reason behind it and how can we subjectively portray it? That's the reason. These are the goals which you can show that the reason behind all these things are very crisp and not very complex or complicated, because you're trying to speak about description of the pain, um, description of the same. You're speaking about an explanation which is very important. You require a prediction, then it is a control, and that's an application. Now, what is the description? You basically have to speak about what is the reason behind it. You basically have to speak about the behavior and phenomena. Can you tell me what is the phenomena here? What is the phenomena here? Why are you doing a research? Because you want to do a case. When you want to analyze something, okay, that person has some issues psychologically or emotionally. Why do you want to speak about it? What is the reason behind it? Because you're planning to do a schedule, because you're planning to do a theory on the person and see whether this is required or not. This is the description where you have a reason with it. Prediction is when you try to predict that, okay, maybe this is the reason that person has gone in shock. You have to basically assume and forecast things. Okay, so under certain conditions, it is very important that you speak about assumptions, but there always will be a margin of error, because without a margin of error, it is absolutely not possible to note down things or do a proper research. Not possible. Next one, explanation. Okay, explanation. The third goal of psychological inquiry is the causal factors. Now, why things are being caused? Now, for example, human memory loss. Let's take an example here, very simple. What's a human memory loss? Right, what's a human memory loss? When a person meets with an accident or has a shock, they lead to a proper memory loss. Okay, that's a very, very important thing, and this is how you basically judge. Thus, your explanation and your goal is considered about identifying the determinants of an antecedent conditions. Very, very important. This leads you to the next part of controlling. Now, you do not have control over certain things. Now, for example, when my daughter came running, I did not have a control. So I just put a picture on the camera, so that I put a hand on my camera so that you guys don't see her crying or stuff like that. It's basic control, okay, which human people do not have. Or when people try to make a control over certain things, when you enhance it, when you try to portray certain things. This happens when you're psychologically not in a balance, not in a proper thought, and that's the reason you need to take up therapies. You need to do meditation, you need to take up yoga. These are very, very important, because it either makes your life constructive or destructive. Clear? Any questions still here, guys? Hamza and Urja, FIR. Oh my god. This is going to be famous. Kuch bhi. That sounds. Okay, jokes apart. Is it clear till here, guys? Do we move ahead? Urja, Hamza, come on, guys. It's a pre-board revision. It's a main board revision, yeah. Jokes apart. Clear? All right. Great. Hi, Wokabi. Hello. Good evening, beta. Chalo. All right. Let's move ahead now. This also takes you to the steps in scientific research in detail. Okay, there are different sort of detailing which is included here, where we also have to speak why are the detailing required. First, conceptualizing a problem. Yeah, see, psychology mein there are three facts which are very very important. Okay, Kriti says no ma'am, all clear. Fantastic guys. Conceptualizing a point or a problem. Now, why is it conceptualizing is important? See, imagine now I am trying to do a research. First, what I will try, I will see how many people have done the same research and what have they observed, what have they written in their uh, research. How can I continue that research? Second thing is basically I try to do a data collection. For example, I tell you guys I want to know what is the market study right now, which will help me understand consumer behavior. And I give you a Google Doc form and I say, please fill it. I'm sure you guys have seen that every single brand or product you buy from Amazon, Mintra, you order food from Swiggy. Have you noticed that they always give you an option of feedback? Very good evening, beta. All right, Kriti, all right. They always give you an option of feedback. Why? Because that helps them to realize that, okay, this is what is happening. So, similarly, you are basically collecting data when you're trying to do a research. As a psychologist, as a scientific thinker, you want a person, you want to read that person, you want to know what has happened, and then you get an idea behind it. Very important. Point number three, you have to draw conclusions out of it. Whatever research, exactly, collecting data, sampling methods, absolutely, Urja. I'm coming to that. Now, whatever data you're collecting, that needs to be first analyzed. Some are yes, some are no, some are do not know, some are NA not applicable. Now, this goes in different cases where drawing conclusion is the last step, where you analyzing the collected data which you want to know about why is it negative, positive, what is the reason behind it, why people are saying it. For example, I did a national research on working women. Okay, that how are they managing their work life balance and their home together. Okay, it was a research which was being taken in the Scopus paper. You can put it on Google, you will be getting the entire research of mine. For that, I had to collect so many data from the housewives as well as from the working women. I wanted to collect data from the working crowd as well as from the people who are homemakers. Now, why? Because I wanted to differentiate and see that are these people who are not going to office equally facing the stress, or it is better for them, or better with them, or better than the rest of the crowd. And I did a hypothesis with that, which proved, okay, that either you are a homemaker or you are a corporate woman. For both stratified sampling, restricted sampling, cluster sampling, snowball, quota. Yes, that's a proper research method, Urja. Okay. Now, when I did this comparison, for me, the conclusion came out to be in such a way where I could analyze that it is not just restricted to the people who are working women, but it is also the same for the homemakers. Okay. That's a very, very important thing. And that's basically known as hypothesis. Okay. Where you can draw your conclusions accordingly. Okay. There's a question for me. One second. Ma'am, may you please explain the psychology behind habits? Example, reading, playing, running, etc. Of course. Um, why and what do you mean by habits in psychology is point number one. It refers, it very well refers to the process, okay, whereby you contest or your prompt actions, your likings, your dislikings through context action association, okay, which are learned through different kind of performances. And how does that happen? Basically, when you love doing something, so cognitive process, your background says that okay, you're liking it, your skill set is good about it, you're doing it. So habit formation is a process by which your behavior, your regular repetition of work, which becomes very automatic or habitual. And a habit may be initially triggered by a goal. Now, why goal? Because this is the idea behind goal here. Okay? Because these things are included when your habit is formed. And if you ask, ma'am, but this is into research, so that also takes a lot of cognitive toll where you are everything is based on a thought process. Now, uh, over the time, remember that the goal, okay, basically becomes less necessary and the habit becomes more autonomic or automatic and autonomic. I'll tell you why. You only love drawing conclusions, statistical data analysis, correlation. Okay, you're giving the question yourself, you're answering the question yourself. Uja, let me just come back to you. First, let me give an answer to Wakabi. Okay, now, Wakabi, your question behind psychology behind the habits. Okay, if your cognitive thought process feels good about something, you try to perform it again and again. And if your skill set is sharpening, or if your expertise are becoming good and natural and organically, it is coming like that, then it becomes very, very important for you to strive hard for that goal. For example, reading. Now, reading is an habit which is, which makes a person get engrossed in that. Okay, that person does not want to leave a book unless it's completed, unless the chapter gets completed. Why? Because it is cognition, and that comes back from that habit development into that. Ma'am, have you read the book Atomic Habits? No, beta, I haven't read the book Atomic Habits. मैम कल मेरा साइकोलॉजी का प्री बोर्ड है मैम, मेरे लिए आप आज क्लास ले लो प्लीज़ मैम, सेकंड चैप्टर डिसऑर्डर्स, प्लीज़ मैम। हाउ कैन आई टेक बेटा, आई हैव नॉट पुट अक्रॉस अ स्पेशल क्लास नो, तो अब मुझे नहीं पता था कि आपका आज तो भाई सेकंड चैप्टर डिसऑर्डर्स वाला। हमजा, आर यू स्पीकिंग अबाउट क्लास 12? इफ़ येस, देन साइकोलॉजिकल डिसऑर्डर्स मैंने कुछ दिन पहले ही लिया है, तो एक बार प्लीज़ चेक कर लो। इट्स देयर ऑन यूट्यूब ऑल्सो, इट्स देयर ऑन स्पेशल ऑल्सो हमजा, यू विल गेट इट बेटा। Thinking Fast and Slow is an amazing book read. Okay, that's definitely something which I'll consider, Urza. Thanks for sharing, beta. Okay, so this is the reason why your habits are formed, because your social thought process, your socio-economic, psychological thought process functions in a very interwoven way. And that is the reason it is very, very important for you to connect with what your thoughts want to. All right. Now, please remember, research की जब बात हो रही है, even if your research is done or even if you're continuing another research, it definitely requires a revising of conclusion. Many times क्या होता है ना, हर चीज़ का, हर सैम्पल का conclusion होने के बाद भी आप शॉक हो जाते हो कि yeah, my god, how will I do it, whether it's happening, not happening, whether it is right, what do I need to include in it, how do I subtract things, how do I additionally put things across. All these things are happening when you're basically revising it. For example, now even if you know the chapter, you once revise कि भाई कुछ miss out ना हो जाए, you're going through. Similarly, your hypothesis has to be analyzed properly, because this is a continuous process. Psychology and research goes hand in hand. It is a continuous process, and hence there are also some alternative paradigms of scientific research. Now, research psychologists basically say that sometimes it's your overt behavior, sometimes you're being an extrovert, sometimes you're becoming like an introvert. Hi, hello, very good evening. How are you? How are you? Okay, so this entire concept of introvert and extrovert plays a very, very important role. All right, it really plays a very important role because it shows your personality, it reflects your ideas, it reflects your values, etc., which is very, very important, and is in front of the people. So that's the reason I always tell you guys that when you are studying psychology, always try to point drawing conclusions, analysis, measuring tendency, dispersions, and pie charts, correlation. Yes, that's right, Urja. Let us come there. Don't rush, beta. The chapter is yet to be completed. Don't rush. Okay. Then you need to have a need. You need to know a nature of psychological data. As a researcher, you need to understand that why you need to verify or falsify ideas. Why do you need to deal with hunches? Why do you need to deal with notions, assumptions, ideas, etc.? All these things are very, very important because you're trying to. Revision of conclusion is due to change in preference and market structure, sociological ideology of society changes over the period of time. Now, this is also about having an independent ideology over value and belief, where you are studying about psychological data. Now, in psychological data, please remember in psychology, there are different ways of formation. First is demographic. Demographic is an entire thing which is about numbers, birth order, okay, education, occupation, status, marital status, number of children, all about numbers. Second is physical information. This shows that it is the place where you're staying. It's mountain, it's hilly, it's winter, summers, neighborhood, whether you have a proper transport, whether you are able to commute to a proper place or not, etc. All these things are very important. That leads us to physiological data. Physiological data, because physiological and psychological are about height, weight, heart rate. Okay, it shows how tired are you, how can you basically speak about your galvanic skin resistance, how can you speak about your blood pressure, EEG. That's the reason people basically have an heart attack. This is the reason why people basically have hallucination, people actually have different personality traits. All these things are very important. Imagine you're jumping and running a lot, suddenly your heartbeats become fast. Why? Because this is a part of a human body. This is a part of your daily system, which definitely goes hand in hand. Now, please remember, we also speak about in the previous sectors where we actually studied about the variety of method, the chart in which you studied about observation, about experimenting, about correlational, about surveys, psychological testing, case studies. All these things are very important because here you're trying to speak about the research purposes. You're trying to speak about why it is important for people. For example, you're watching a football match and you suddenly lose it. Okay, you say that I predicted it. Okay, now let's take in thing. Sometimes the teachers predict, okay, this time the student has really worked hard, maybe this time he'll definitely clear the exam. Why? Can you say why? Assumption. Because that teacher also knows that the student is working hard and he or she will definitely get or score good marks in the examination. This is very, very important. Okay, now observational method. Observational method is a very powerful tool of psychological inquiry because you're trying to notice things, you're trying to read out things, and this is what I told you, that very important segment in development factors. Next, selection. Like I told you, why selection is important, guys? Why do you need to, encounter? Why do you need to come across a place where you want to basically know, okay, that your data is correct, that you're trying to make an observation, that you're working as a psychologist when you're analyzing the different views, uh, why, what is being derived from it, what is the meaning behind it, and all these things are very important. Why? Because a good observer knows what he or she is looking for and what he or she has to observe. Very, very, very important. Yes, the significance of socio-emotional and psychological play a very important role, because here you're also trying to speak about the concept of data collection, concept about observation, concept about being the best version of what you were, and there are absolute amount of possibilities for the same, which is very, very important. Okay, this leads to the next point in which you're speaking about the participant observation that becomes a part and parcel of your life. Imagine your school and colleges. Imagine the group members, not the group members in your friend circle, the community group members. Values and beliefs. When you have a belief over something, you basically do it. When you do not, the ideologies behind the same. And why is it important? Next is experimental method. Any questions or doubts still here? Let me just have a look at it. Okay, Urja has written some answers. One second. Economic data, sociological data, psychological data, and geographical data combined with political data related. See, political not always, Urja. Political depends on situation. That's a situationalism. But yes, definitely with sociology, economy, and your situation. Observation method, data gathered due to observation, day to day common data, correct. That's the right point, Urja. That's the right point, beta. Naturalistic by default, by any constraints. Controlled analysis is based on some parameters. Selection process, observations, and observers' choice. Yes. Any questions still here, beta? Hi, Ronak. How are you? Okay, Hamza says no, ma'am. FST Seke. All clear, ma'am. Okay, all right. Ma'am, you teach so nicely. I scored 87 because of you. That's great. You need to score 90 plus then. FST Seke. Oh, that's Sanskriti. Hi, Sanskriti. Done. Okay. Any question? यहाँ तक के कोई questions नहीं है, right? Midway across, there was. Ronak, I'm doing good, beta. Thank you so much. Researcher wants to replicate the creaky bridge experiment. Participants are crossed against the fear of arousing bridge and non-fearing arousing of the bridge. Yeah, because there you're trying to segment. Okay, so that's very important, Urja. That's a fantastic example which you have actually taken. It's an act. It's not an example. It's a proper theory. Okay. Okay, let's move ahead now. So the different types of methods, which I told you already, I see a lot of comments. I don't know what is happening, why this is happening. Um, Ma'am, I think you're sitting in front of green screen. Yes, sitting in front of a green screen, beta. Okay, Urja, whatever you are asking, it's a misattribution of arousal beta. Okay, so this requires a lot of high end and highlighted attraction under the conditions of psychology. So this gives you, an idea where you cross the rockety bridge, and it's a huge bridge experience basically. So this is misattribution of whatever you're asking me right now, if that is what you're trying to ask me. All right, clear. Now, let's quickly move ahead and brush across. Rest of the people are also waiting. Now, there are also something which is called as variables. Okay. Now, X and Y. Now, reason behind variables are because basically this controls your experiments, which a researcher, when he or she is able to pinpoint the different causes in effect relationship, uh, ma'am, your chroma key is not perfectly used. Okay. All right, Ronak, I'll take care of it, beta. Ma'am, in midterms, I got 77 out of 80 in psychology. That's amazing, Urja. Fantastic, beta. Keep it up. Okay. So, yeah, let's move ahead. Variables are very important because this shows your dependency, independency in relationship, because it's a factor which really plays a very important role. Okay. Now, when they ask you the goals of scientific theory, your answer should be this. I definitely asked you guys and definitely told you that this entire chapter you will come across a lot of questions where we are forecasting the answers, where you are concluding, and where I'm trying to tell you the most important part, or the most, important, behavior, which is an integral part of the same. All right, very, very important. Uh, Also, when we come across the importance of goals and scientific define definitions and conclusions of a scientific theory, please remember a theory can have a criticism always. It is not compulsory that every single time your research will be 100% and a 10 on 10. You will have constructive criticism and you will have negligencies when it comes to errors, because research is equal to errors, like business is equal to risk. Ronak says, ma'am, I have doubt. Doubt. Yes, Ronak, please go ahead and ask, beta. Okay. So these kind of explanation, solution, control over the segment is very important. Now, scientific research has proven, Urja, coming to the point which you told me. Okay, here I'm giving you the example. You can note down the things if you want. Please remember the problem needs to be first conceptualized, then you have to collect the data. Now, these are some additional points which I have given you, which you can download or which you can take a screenshot or write it down, which is important and which is already given in your NCRT Q&A, which I have just discussed like this. Yes, please ask Ronak, what's the doubt, beta? Okay, so what are the points? These are the points. Why is it important? Because this helps you to revise all the conclusions. This helps you to alternatively plan the hypothesis, do a proper channelized way and revision of the same, and in the same process, which basically continues. Now, there is a difference between interview and questionnaire. Urja, if you're listening to me, Hamza, if you're listening to me, Kriti, all you guys, please remember there is a difference between an interview and a questionnaire. Interview is basically face to face, whereas your questionnaire is about when you're giving it to the people, when the respondents are basically filling the details and giving the answers to you. In questionnaire is always structured, okay, but interview haphazard. You don't know when you're going to ask a question and suddenly you're replying back. Okay, doubt overpower. Yes, please ask your doubt, Ronak. I'm telling you, please ask and I will answer before we wrap up the class. So please ask question and I will definitely answer better. Okay. Now, questionnaire is basically, even in my school, when I answer all the questions, everyone teases me and tells to be quiet. You don't have to be quiet, you can answer. I never stopped you from writing anything, better. Just go on. You write, you can ask a question, you can answer, you can tell your views. This is the way you learn and interact. So, we are not here just to educate you guys, but we are here to learn as well. So, please go ahead and feel free, beta Urja, no problem, okay? I'm glad that you're interested in psychology. I'm glad that you're taking part and you're enjoying it. Please go ahead and do that. No problem. Ronak, it's completely fine. So now you have a doubt, Ronak, you can ask me. Okay. Now, this is a basic difference between an interview or questionnaire, and I have given you. Please note the points. Now, there are some characteristics of standardized test. What are they? Why is the reason behind it? Okay, by the way, today's class was a 1 hour class. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a straight 2 hours marathon. In that, right from the first chapter till the ones which we have completed, which includes learning and memory, we would be taking it. And suddenly, you guys, please start asking whatever questions or doubts you have in the entire drill. Okay. All right, is that fine, guys? All right, is that okay, guys? All right, thank you, Hamza. All right. Now, reliability test, psychological tests, all the things are there. Hamza, one more time I'm telling you, beta, please go ahead and check the video of psychological disorders. If you do not find, if you have any questions, please connect on the Telegram and I will reply back. Join the group, it is there, beta. You can already check it out and please ask me anytime you have a questions. Feel free and connect. All right. I'm already there for you guys. One major question, which is very important in quantitative and qualitative method. Yes, ma'am. Sorry again. Don't worry, Hamza. That was a joke. No problem. My baby was crying. You guys thought, what do you call? My baby was crying. You guys thought I was beating the baby, but it's okay. Relax. No problem. It doesn't look professional. That's all. Now, quantitative methods and qualitative method. The difference between these two. Okay, Urja says interview is usually in person or telephonic. Yes. Questionnaire can be anywhere. It can be virtual. It can be hand to hand. It can be verbal. It can be anything. ठीक है. नाउ क्वांटिटेटिव एंड क्वालिटी में दो डिफरेंसेस दिए हुए हैं, ये एक बार मेजर कर लीजिएगा. क्वांटिटेटिव ऑलवेज नीड्स टू हैव अ लो हाई structured variable numbers. Qualitative is usually a yes no, and that elicitates the difference between importance. Okay, a questionnaire should be specific and preferably not open ended questions. Questions should be closed ended and simple words. Yes, एक्चुअली यस, बिकॉज क्वांटिटेटिव एंड क्वालिटेटिव में यही दो चीज़ें हैं जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. एंड बाय गॉड्स ग्रेस, बिलीव मी, अगर ये दोनों आपको आ गया ना तो इसमें आप मार्क्स ज़रूर, आप मार्क्स पिकअप कर सकते हो. ओके, सो लेट मी टेल यू, कल वाला क्लास प्लीज़ बिना भूले मिस मत करना. Do not forget to join, yes, tomorrow's class. It's a 2 hours marathon. Please be there and we will do right from first chapter to the last one. जिसमें कोई भी क्वेश्चन होंगे हम एक बार पूरा का पूरा ब्रश अप करेंगे. इज दैट ओके गाइस? Is that okay, guys? Now, please make sure that limitation also plays a very important role here in this chapter. Check it out. What do you mean by limitations? Why are the scores given to people? This is very important. Okay, here we are trying to speak about the nature of the people. Why are they restricted? What are the reasons behind it? What are the limitations behind it? And all these things are very important. Okay, guys, So relative value also play a very important role. तो ये सारी चीज़ें एक बार ब्रश अप कर लो. एथिकल इश्यूज वी विल टेक टुमारो. बाकी सारी चीज़ें मैं कल पूरा ब्रीफिंग करके डीब्रीफिंग करूँगी. अभी तक के जो हमने पूरा ब्रश अप किया मेडिक मेथड्स वाले चैप्टर को राइट फ्रॉम द बिगनिंग. कोई प्रॉब्लम, एनी क्वेश्चन स्टिल हियर गाइस? Clear guys? रौनक इज सेइंग मैम आप विंटर्स में भी एसी यूज करते हो. रौनक, आई मीन गोवा. यहाँ पर गर्मी गर्मी गर्मी, ओनली गर्मी. देयर नो विंटर यहाँ. All right, okay, guys. I think this is now time. I'm gonna join again tomorrow, and please remember tomorrow. No disturbances, no this thing. You guys have to be very careful. We do not have time. Exams are already on your head, and I want you guys to really help yourselves and study well. Okay, so that's the reason again and again I'm telling you. कोई भी doubts, कोई भी questions हो तो feel free and ask, and I'm there to help you anytime you ask me. Okay. So, all right, I'm going to see you guys tomorrow for the marathon. God bless, take care, and stay safe. Bye, guys.